Ladies and gentlemen, if you are planning to buy the Hyundai Creta, well, you need to watch this video right up till the end. And why I say so? Well, this is the Hyundai Creta diesel automatic. It has been a part of our long-term fleet for almost a year. We have driven it for more than 10,000 kilometers, ranging from the beautiful forts in Madhya Pradesh to the forts in Rajasthan and right up to the engineering marvel, which is Chenab Bridge. So we have driven this car in varied conditions in city, even on highways, and here over the next few minutes I'm going to tell you everything that is good about the Hyundai Creta and things that could have been better. Alright, now let's start off with the good things first about the Creta. And one big change in this Creta was, of course, the design. The earlier one was quite quirky and polarizing, so some people liked it, a lot of people did not. But this one's far more balanced, looks a lot more elegant, with those one end to the other LED DRLs, the studded grille, even at the back a sleek rear, and the sharp chiseled alloy wheels. It's not radically different from the older Creta when you look at the side profile, but yes, it's different enough to look like a new car, and it appeals to a different set of audience. So that's the most important thing. So that's one thing I really like about the Creta, the way it looks. It looks like a proper boxy SUV, but at the same time it looks modern. Then once you step inside the cabin, there is a lot to love in the new Creta. It's got a great looking cabin in terms of the overall design. It looks very elegant. At the same time, it also looks premium. The material quality, the build quality is spot on given the segment standards. And of course, in terms of features, it's just amazing. I think I don't need to tell here that the Creta is the most loaded, feature-rich SUV out there in the segment today. And yeah, it is. I mean, look at this dual screens, great to look at. They give the cabin a nice premium flair. They're easy to use. The touch response is slick. The color display is good. So yes, I mean, it just works really like a charm. And beyond that, also the automatic climate control, be it the wireless charging tray or the massive panoramic sunroof, which is a feature that a lot of customers demand these days. The Creta has it all. And it's not just the front passengers that it keeps happy, with various features also, including seat ventilation and a good premium Bose audio system. Even the passengers at the back, they will be quite happy. First of all, an almost flat floor, which means along with a wide seat, you can actually have 3 people sitting abreast. Good amount of leg room, good amount of knee room, good amount of headroom. The seat itself is quite nice. The cushioning is spot on. The under thigh support is good, and storage space all around the cabin, be it front or the back, is great. So from a comfort, from a premium, from a practicality perspective, from a look and feel perspective, there is nothing that I can point out as a flaw in this vehicle. Of course, if you opt for lower variants, you will have lesser features, but this is the top variant, diesel automatic. And I mean, if there was one thing I had to really point out, well, these temperature control buttons here, they get sort of fiddly and loose after some time. But again, come on, that's just nitpicking. But beyond that, like I said, a great cabin. Now, before I go ahead and tell you more about the driving part of the Creta diesel automatic, well, first of all, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and press that little bell icon so that all our videos can reach to you on time. And do not forget to share it as well. Now, when it comes to the driving experience, before I get into the powertrain, let me first speak about the cameras. Now, you would say, why cameras? Well, that's because the cameras on the Creta are brilliant in terms of resolution and display quality. Now, I can point out vehicles that cost almost twice or maybe more than twice the cost of a Creta, but still don't have enough cameras or the same number of cameras that the Creta has, and they're not that clear as well. So be it the 360-degree camera or the 3D animation that you get on the screen, the crisp display quality of the screen, also the reverse camera with dynamic grid lines, all of this makes the Creta in terms of parking in and out of tight spaces, a very easy vehicle. Also, it comes with level 2 ADAS, so it also has a lot of active safety features, including blind spot detection cameras. So every time you press on the indicator lever, indicating that you're about to take a turn, the tachometer or the speedometer changes into a display. You get a feed from the camera and the ORVM, and again, great display quality. So that adds to the safety. A lot of times we miss two-wheelers in a blind spot. Not happening with the Creta. And of course, like I said, ADAS level 2 is a lot of active safety features which make driving a much more safer experience, especially in crowded traffic or on high-speed expressways. And now coming to the driving part. Well, this one, the one that we have had in our long-term fleet, is a diesel variant, and it's paired to an automatic transmission. It's a torque converter automatic transmission, and first of all, let's get the numbers out of the way. 1.5 liter turbocharged diesel engine, 115 horsepower, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound much on paper, but in reality, the way the engine and the gearbox have been paired, you get a good amount of low-end torque. So pulling from low speeds is not a problem for the Creta. Also, one other thing I would like to point out is its refinement, the low noise, vibration and harshness, the NVH levels. So except for the initial few gears when you're accelerating hard, well, that time you can hear the diesel clatter inside the cabin. But once you get up to cruising speeds, or you're in fourth gear or higher gear, the engine is super silent. You do not get to know that it's a diesel engine. So that is something really great about this engine. And in terms of power, yes, I think that's one area where it could be better. I'm not saying it's underpowered, but it's not exciting to drive as well. It'll get the job done. It'll not give you a problem in terms of expressway speeds. It can sit whole day at 120 kilometers on any of the expressways in India, and well, it's just not exciting to drive. That's the problem. But if you are driving in hilly areas, there are paddle shifters which allow you to take better control of the gearbox. And on to the next important thing, kitna deti hai, right? I mean, for anyone who's buying a diesel vehicle, fuel efficiency does matter a lot. And I'm happy to report that the Creta diesel offers great fuel efficiency. Overall, in the 10,000 plus kilometers that we've driven in the city cycle, it should give you anywhere between 16 to 18 and a half kilometers to a liter. This is, I'm talking about traffic in Delhi. So rush hour traffic, you'll still get about that. On the highways or on weekends, you can expect anywhere between 18 to 20, and on expressways, you can expect upwards of 21.5 kilometers to a liter. So when you add all of these things, its ability to cruise in a very silent way, refined engine, great fuel efficiency, good amount of torque, ability to sit at triple digit speeds whole day. What you get is a car that will happily stretch its legs over for long distance journeys. And that's what makes the Creta such a versatile vehicle. It's great in terms of city driving, and great visibility all around. You've got a nice 360-degree camera system. You've got ADAS level 2. It's refined to drive. It's brilliantly fuel efficient to drive. And also, in the 1 year plus that we have driven, no unexpected maintenance requirements. It has never failed on us. It has never given us any kind of an unnecessary error. We have never had any kind of a maintenance problem with it. Just one service that was done, and that's all that it is needed. So over 10,000 kilometers driven, and I can tell you it's not just great to drive, it's also quite reliable. And when you add all of these things together, well, you must be wondering, hang on, that's almost everything great about the Creta. What's not great? Well, there are a few things. While it's an exceptional pick in its segment for offering great tech and features, there are things that could have been better. For example, like I said, it could have done with a bit more power. Also, the ride quality is fine when you're driving. At low speeds, it might be a bit harsh, but it sort of improves once you get going. And with about 2 passengers and some weight, it's perfectly fine on expressways. But when you've got a full load of passengers, maybe 4 adults and their luggage for a weekend outing, well, with that additional weight, something happens to the suspension of the Creta wherein its ability to sort of iron those surface undulations which we have a lot on some of our expressways, for example the Delhi-Mumbai expressway, it's not able to iron out those undulations that well. But if you've got two people sitting, it works much better. But again, that's not to an extent where you will get uncomfortable, but yes, it's a thing that you should know. And when it comes to handling, well, the Creta is aimed at being a practical, a comfortable family SUV, and it's not a sports SUV, so it handles accordingly. It's got a nice sure-footed straight line stability around corners. Well, it is quite grippy, but there is a fair amount of body roll. Like I said, it's not made to attack corners, but it's a comfortable SUV to drive. And when you add all of these things together, you start to understand why the Creta has always been the king of this segment, why it has been the undisputed champion of the segment for so long, and why it continues to be the highest selling SUV in the country. Because in terms of tech, it leads the bandwagon. In terms of space, it's at par with any of its rivals. In terms of features, again, it's ahead of most of its rivals. In terms of looks, it's now more acceptable by the masses. And over the years, it has built a legacy for itself. And that's the reason why the Creta continues to be the leading SUV in the country. Yes, the diesel version, I think the petrol ones are priced fine. The diesel automatic could have been priced a bit more comparatively. I think it's a bit on the pricier side, but just a bit. Not really a deal breaker, but the petrol ones are priced fine. And yes, I mean, that's the thing with the Creta. You get even a wide choice of powertrains. You can choose between petrol engine, diesel engine, you can choose between gearbox, you can go in for a DCT, you can go in for a manual, you can go in for a torque converter. There are multiple options. And that's why the Creta is the king of its segment. And after having driven this vehicle for almost a year, more than 10,000 kilometers across different parts of the country, I can safely tell you that the Creta is easily the best SUV to buy in its segment right now in the country.